from reality, but man, he can play.
If they make plays, nobody cares.
That's what it comes down to.
By the way, what nationality are you?
I'm Polish, of course.
Okay, because you said Raucus. Yeah. And I'm wondering, how do you pronounce Sauna?
Sauna. Not sauna.
I thought you slipped there. You said sauna. I know some people.
You trapped me into it a little bit.
I find some Norskis. They'll say sauna. I'm going to have a sauna.
No, I didn't do that.
I thought Raucus was it was the football
so you
version.
say raucous?
I don't ever use that word. I don't speak it.
Well, hey, that's I bring the discourse to another level. So
no question about it. I have three very different topics I want to get to round out the show. We do want to thank Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin, Hoaglund. He's been handling my insurance and Michael Russo's insurance for quite a while now.
Hi, Talk North listeners. I wanted to let you all know about State Farm's new Quotes for Good program. We partner with local nonprofits to raise money for great causes. The Viking Update show, I will donate $10 to the Adam Thielen Foundation, benefiting the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital. When you call in, be sure to mention the show so that we can track the donations. You can reach us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at champlininsurance.com.
Also, we have a deal with Bite Squad. Promo code is TalkNorth. That'll work once. After that, just go to the bitesquad.com website to find what kind of deal and what kind of restaurants they can serve you in your area. And remember, it's like morning, noon, night, late night, office, home, wherever you happen to be. Bitesquad.com. I recommend uploading your information to Bite Squad, the app, and using the app to order your food. And again, the promo code is TalkNorth. All right, so the Bears are an embarrassment. And it's amazing. Isn't it amazing how the season turned? It looked like the Vikings just had nothing, and the Bears were a dominant force. And since then, the Vikings have been very good, and the Bears have been almost an embarrassment.
Yeah, and not to oversimplify, but it's quarterback play, right? I mean, the Trubisky was shaky to start the season, but the Bears were just rolling, and I think they were kind of on the wind was at their backs from the last season, and they were playing with a lot of confidence, but the more they played, the more Trubisky got exposed and the more limited their offense became. Whereas Cousins was playing very poorly and looked overmatched, and all of a sudden he and Stefanski found the secret sauce, whatever it is, and now he is throwing darts all over the field, and this team is playing with so much confidence. And so that's how quickly it turns, and that's the power that your quarterback has to either uplift or to either uplift or to just bring down. And I do think, like, when you listen to and you read some of the things that the Bears defense is saying, they look like they go in knowing that they don't have a whole lot of a chance. And now, I mean, Matt Nagy, who was this genius last year, is on the hot seat, I think, with the way things have gone. And he's not handled the adversity well either. And that's just a dumpster fire over there, where the Vikings, I think, to their credit, they have endured so much drama and so much tension over the years that a little bit of adversity, they don't really blink at. I mean, yeah, it can get tight and things, but they know how to navigate that. Whereas the Bears clearly had no idea how to do it, and it's killing them.
And you hit on a really good point there. Trubisky, I mean, he was telling people to turn off TVs in the Bears facility last week.
Nagy.
Was it Nagy? I thought it was Trubisky.
Was it Trubisky? Okay.
Well, okay.
Yeah, either way.
I can't remember. I maybe I got it wrong. Yeah. But you have a key figure walking around turning off TVs. Yeah. That is not going to work in the real world. Where Kirk Cousins, he has his flaws. He's had his mistakes. He's had his bad games. But he certainly knows how to handle the pressure.
Yeah, he does. And I thought one of his most impressive answers on Sunday in the press conference was, he was asked about the criticism and things like that, and he says, he basically just said, look, that comes with this job, and you take the criticism and you take the praise, and you don't really pay too much attention to either one, and I have to know that when I am. He said, I'm well compensated. And he said, when you're making that money and you're playing this position, you understand that comes with the territory. And I think there are a lot of athletes, there are a lot of coaches that believe the only thing they get paid for is what they do on the field. And that's only part of it. what you get paid for is how well you handle the scrutiny. And when the microscope is really trained on you and it's getting hot, do you crumble or do you just kind of roll through it? And Cousins has done a great job of letting any criticism kind of roll off his back or using it as fuel to drive forward. And it seems like the Bears and Trubisky that light is just too hot for them, and they can't handle it right now.
And what I always say about professional athletes, and I'm talking about highly paid professional athletes, is you don't get paid a lot because you're good at your job. There are a lot of people in America who are good at their jobs who make 5 figures. Mm-hmm. You get paid because people care about what you do. So dealing with the scrutiny, dealing with jerks like us, that's all just a big part of the job.
And it's a skill, man. It is. It's like, there are people who can't handle it, and I understand that. Like, it's a tough environment to be in, and especially in this day and age where you have social media and you have 24-hour sports talk radio and TV where they're just obsessing over every little thing and picking at it, and that's difficult to
you have raucous podcasts.
You have raucous podcasts like this one that break it all down, but the great ones don't flinch at that, and they understand it. And the ones who are a little bit more mentally fragile or just don't know how to do it, those are the ones that crumble. And Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer is another one. Like, he has been in his fair share of tight spots, and sometimes he snaps and sometimes he grumbles and growls, but whatever he has done, he has survived through it. And I think that is a quality trait to have in a quarterback, in a head coach, in anybody who's going to be kind of one of your leaders of a franchise. 2
more topics. The secondary continues to be a concern, and it's a concerning concern because this isn't...
Concerning concern.
Yeah, this is not a... every team has flaws.
Yeah.
And you have to have flaws because you're in a salary cap league, and it's just going to be that way. What's a concerning concern for me is when you put all of your resources into a position and it's playing poorly.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Xavier Rhodes is making a lot of money. Harrison Smith is making a lot of money. Trey Waynes does well for himself.
High draft pick.
Yep. That is
Hughes
a
high draft pick. Mackenzie Alexander is supposed to be a good player. And I don't want to put them all in the same boat. I thought Waynes played pretty well yesterday. I think Mackenzie Alexander's having a good year. But your number one cornerback does not look right, and your secondary is giving up big plays.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Harrison Smith, the dynamic playmaker that we're used to seeing from him. He's been fine, but I think out of that position you need elite, and I don't know that he has been that way. But in fairness, a little bit yesterday, the Broncos made some big plays. A lot of times, Rhodes, Waynes, like, they were right there in coverage, and great throw, great catch. That's going to happen sometimes. They did recover very nicely in the second half. You only allow 3 points. Did their job. Did well. But yes, I think going forward, when you face Russell Wilson, when you're going to face Aaron Rodgers, even Phillip Rivers can get after you. Like, that's the Vikings. I can guarantee will take the bye week and really try and evaluate if there are adjustments that can be made, if the playing time can be parceled out differently. That's got to be one of the hot button issues that they really examine in their self-scouting portion of this off week coming up, to see if they can come up with anything to minimize what has been a real issue for them for most of the season.
We plan to add a Gopher show to our network. We haven't yet, so let's hit on the Gopher Football situation really quickly. I do want to thank our sponsors, Twill in the Edina Galleria, Tony Hoaglund, Hoaglund, and Bite Squad, bitesquad.com, promo code TALKNORTH. I sensed a great deal of angst. I heard a lot of people saying, here we go again. To me, this is just a logical game to lose. I mean, I thought it was going to be close. I thought that they were probably going to lose against a good Iowa team in that situation, coming off the emotional win, having to play on grass. All the factors I thought were stacked against them. So I just can't go from thinking this is going to be a tough game to ripping them for not winning it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is difficult to come off of that euphoria and refocus and go into a very tough place to play and win. I mean, they did look in that first half, they looked shell-shocked. They looked hungover. They looked whatever you want to call it. And they made, mistake after mistake after mistake. And so it was not a clean game. They were still relatively in it for most of the way, and they ended up losing. That does happen. I think the thing that you have to guard against here, going down the stretch, is that you can't go from having no expectations to having all of the expectations and nothing in between. They go to 9-0. Right now they're 9-1. That's still a great record. If they finish 10-2, like how that exceeds any possible dreams they could have had coming into this season. And so you have to look at the perspective a little bit and just remember where you were like 7 weeks ago. Now it doesn't mean that you can't get into it and you
right.
don't want them to go, as far as they possibly can, but if they lose at Northwestern, yeah, that's a problem. And now you can get a little bit more angsty about this.
And I'm going to be there in Chicago on Saturday. If they lose that one, I will beat them up a bit.
Yeah, and that's one that you have to win. But if they somehow find a way to beat Northwestern and beat Wisconsin, and you're in the Big Ten championship game, like you could get beat 100-0 by Ohio State, and that's still amazing. And you're going to the Rose Bowl. Like, what are you? But these are tough games, and that was a tough one. They did not play well. I think there were some coaching mistakes as well. But if you clean some of that stuff up, I think there's still plenty right in front of them to go out and accomplish.
Absolutely. We'll be back next week setting up the Seattle game, talking about the NFL at large a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about Colin Kaepernick. I wanted this to be a Viking-centric podcast, but there's a lot of interesting things surrounding Kaepernick, and I think laying the facts out is always really important when we talk about issues like that are also societal issues. Thanks to everybody who listens. Thanks to our sponsors. Also check out John on his passion, which is the the You Betcha Basketball Show, otherwise known as the John Krasinski Show, where he breaks down the Timberwolves in the NBA.